Hello my lovely yoga people, welcome back. So today we are going to be working on Sun Salutation C, which in rocket yoga just means you're going to be working through your warrior positions and a couple of your triangles. So we're going to work through these in this video and then we're going to add them on to our Sun Salutations in another video. So if you want the full flow, it will be coming. Okay, so breaking the poses down to start off with, we're going to go with Warrior 1. In Warrior 1, you want to make sure that you are using the width of your hips. So if you're taking your right foot forward, you want to make sure that your heel is in line with your front hip and that your back foot is in line with your back hip. Don't try and do it on a tightrope or on a straight line. Okay, so you can afford to be slightly wider. Now, depending on the flexibility that you have in this hip and also the flexibility you have in your Achilles, right down at the bottom of your leg, is going to depend on whether or not you can take those hips and turn them to face the front. From there, the pelvis tucks under, like a bit of a John Travolta move, and then we shift the weight forward. Okay, if you're finding that this is putting pressure on the inside of your knee, be kind to yourself and lift that back heel. This is a different position. It's a high lunge position, but you can interchange them if you need to, whilst we're working on getting a little bit warmer and opening up that back hip. So in this warrior position, we want to make sure that this knee is stacked over that ankle. In an ideal world, we'd be getting this thigh parallel to the floor, the hips face the front, the ribs face the front, the pelvis tucks under, which takes quite a toll on your groin here. So again, be kind to yourself. Then from there, we sweep the arms and we lift. So this is your Warrior 1. Now in rocket yoga, we take this and we turn to Warrior 2, but it's a little bit of a tricky transition because it requires you to know exactly where Warrior 2 is. So unlike Warrior 1, which faces forward and the feet have a gap in between the width, we're going to keep that front foot where it is and move the back foot further back. So now if I was to stand on the straight line, I have my instep of my back foot directly in line with my front heel. From there, I squeeze my butt and turn my hips and my ribs to face the side, and my arms are out. If you're unsure about how wide your legs should be, it's usually about, if you take your arms out to the side, where your wrists are, your feet should sit underneath it. That's about right. Now, if this front knee has started to roll in, I want you to think about externally rotating. The other thing that will happen, and you might find that whilst I'm talking, you're doing it. This is an Instagram pose. It's not a very good one, but it's not a Warrior 2. So this is going to pinch in the hip and you're literally letting bone sit on bone, which is not what we want. So we tuck the butt in, we squeeze to push that knee out, and we lift. In Ashtanga, your eyes are on the ends of your front hands. So this is your Warrior 2. All right, so let's take it back to Warrior 1. We'll do it on the other leg so we're not getting too tired. So we take it back to Warrior 1. Feet are hip distance. Front foot is facing directly forward. Back foot is at a 45-degree angle facing out. We bend the front knee. We tuck the pelvis under and lower. Inhale and sweep. Exhale and hold. So this is the Warrior 1 that we use in Sun Sal B. From here, I am going to open up my hips to turn to Warrior 2. If I don't readjust my legs, I'm not in Warrior 2. I'm just making this knee tip in. So I'm going to move my feet so that they're in line. I'm going to squeeze my butt and turn my hips to face the side. Ribs to face the side, knee turns out, and we don't sink, we tuck. Warrior 2. Beautiful, staying on this side, straighten the front leg. Heel toe the back foot in a little bit. We're going to go for triangle or trikonasana. From here, we lean forward, we reach, imagine someone's got hold of your hand and they're pulling it. And then from there, we rotate So your options here is to have your hand on your shin, on your foot, or in front of your foot. Okay, if that's not there for you, you can always use a brick if you have a brick handy. If you don't have a brick handy, stay on your shin. Now, if you are doing triangle properly, you should be able to do this against a wall and have your whole body flat against the wall whilst you're doing it. If you find that you are away from the wall or you're here, then you need to come up a little bit in order to open your chest to come back again. Okay, so that is triangle. Let's do triangle on the other side. So we've come from warrior two, we've straightened the front leg, we've heel-toed back foot in, and then we reach forward. This is usually where people's hips go, and then hand comes down, ribs open, and instead of letting that butt swing out, we tuck the butt in and push the hips forward. Feels pretty intense down the side here and also down the hamstring. If this is too much pressure on your hamstring, just give it a little micro bend. Look after it. Okay? And then let that go. From triangle pose, we're going to be going into what we call pyramid. So from this position here, we're going to bring this top hand down and we're going to look down. Now, if you're someone that can't touch the floor here, just bend this front leg. And we're going to square the hips up just like we did in warrior one. So we square the hips up a little bit, they're now a hip distance. So pyramid faces the front. From there, a half lifting pyramid is here. Now, if you're finding that this is hurting in your knee, give it a little bend, flatten the back, full stretch, coming all the way down. And then just make sure we've done that on both sides. So pyramid on this side, hip distance with the heels, hands can be flat, hands can be here, knee can be bent, hands can be at the shin. If you're one of those people that's feeling absolutely fabulous today, you can even reach all the way through and see if you can reach that back leg. And they're your options for pyramid pose. So from pyramid pose, we are going to go into revolved triangle. The revolved triangle is probably the trickiest of them all. So you definitely need to make sure that your feet are hip distance apart. From here, you're going to be taking the opposite hand across the body. I usually teach this hand on lower back, opposite hand to the leg that's in front, slides down the leg. So we're here. Now from here, we're going to move this front hip backwards, and immediately you're going to feel it light up down the back of your leg, maybe your IT band, depending on how much you run. And then from here, I'm going to try and twist my ribs round and reach to the ceiling, maybe even look all the way up at the ceiling. So that's your first shape. You might find that you're up here, and you might find you can get that hand down flat, pull the hip back, rotate round and lift up. Okay, so revolve triangle on the other side. We have options. We can bend that front knee, hand to knee, take a little twist and lift. We can slide down, pull that front hip back, or maybe even hand on the ground, arm to the ceiling, looking up at the ceiling. From there, we look down, hand down, and we release to kneeling down. If you've just eaten, you won't be able to do revolve triangle. There's too much pressure in the middle of your belly to be able to do it. It's basically like wringing out a washcloth if you've got that much room in there. So if you've just eaten, maybe skip that one. So the next one that we're going to work on is our revolved warrior two. And there's a lot that goes into this and a lot of variations to do what's best for you. And that goes into the flow as well. I'll build it up in the flow, just stick at whichever one you feel like doing on that day. So the first one starts off, kneeling lunge, hands to heart center. From there, opposite elbow to knee that's in front, hooks. And then you push down with your hands, scoop the belly in, and you're able to rotate. So this is the first stage. The second stage is to tuck that back toe, really root down and push backwards with the back heel to lift the back knee. Breathe here for a second. And then let that go. So they're the first two variations. We're going to change legs and I'll show you the last one. So, butt's tucked under, hands are in prayer, tip of elbow outside of knee. We push down and we rotate. From here, we tuck the back toe. We push out through the back heel in order to lift the back knee. Do not let your arms go loose. You will face plant. Now the next variation of this is quite tricky and it will depend on your body proportions. But what we do is we take the outside of the tricep round the leg. And then from there, the hand goes down to the floor and maybe we can get that twist. And if you're feeling really fancy, that top hand reaches to the front as well. And then we let the whole thing go. We look down, hand down, knee down. Okay. Now from there, we'll be going into a preparation for pincher, which I will explain in a different video because that is a whole world of its own. But to start off with, in Rocket Yoga, instead of doing the downward dog in Sun Salutation C, it gets replaced with what we call a dolphin. A dolphin is exactly the same as a down dog, except instead of being on your hands, you're on your forearms. In order to check the width of your forearms, there's two ways of doing it. The first one is to do thumbs together, spread the fingers, and that shows us how wide our hands should be. And then the second one shows us how wide our elbows should be. So what we do is we lift our hands, cross them over and give yourself a cuddle. If you can wrap your triceps comfortably, then your hands are in the right place, your elbows are in the right place. If your elbows are too wide, you won't be able to wrap your triceps. You'll be able to tap your biceps, but not wrap. So we want to make sure the thumbs can nearly touch, elbows are in, double check, give yourself a cuddle, place your hands down. This requires a decent amount of shoulder stability, so we can build up to it, and how long you hold it is also up to you. From here, we tuck the toes, we push down through the shoulders, down through the hands, hover the knees. This is stage one. Then from here, we push backwards and lift the bottom high. Now, if you can't straighten your legs, it doesn't matter, it doesn't make you a better person. All I want you to work on is getting your butt nice and high. Then from there, if you've got the flexibility in your hamstrings, we can start to walk the feet forward close to the face. And then an exercise to build up stability is to tip forward to your thumbs and push back again. Forward to your thumbs and push back again. Walk your feet back out, knees down, maybe a little child's pose. And that is it. So when you do your Sun Salutation C, it will flow everything on one side of the body, on your right side of the body, and then everything on the left side of the body with that pincher preparation in between. So look out for it. Thanks.